Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the latest B2ML HubSpot training webinar. Thank you very much for everyone joining us today. If this is your first webinar with us, then welcome. If you've been on a few with us over the last few weeks, then I think you sort of know the drill by now. But thanks very much for joining. And today we're going to look at exactly how to master the HubSpot social tools. I hope everyone can hear me okay. If there's any sort of sound or connection issues, please feel free to drop a message into the chat pane, which I'll be keeping an eye on. Just firstly, a little bit of background into who I am. This is me. My name's Matt Creswick. I'm Group Head of Marketing at the B2B Marketing Lab. The B2B Marketing Lab is a HubSpot and inbound marketing partner. We've been working with HubSpot for just over 6 years now, helping companies sort of all across the world, in the US, Asia and Europe mainly, basically succeed with HubSpot and inbound marketing. And we are what is called a HubSpot certified trainer, which essentially means that we are a certified partner to run HubSpot training. We've been running HubSpot classroom training within our offices in London for the last 5 years or so. And we've literally just started running some HubSpot training classes within our Singapore office as well. And I'm delighted to say that Caroline, who's joining us on the webinar today, is actually now based in our Singapore offices and is the person who runs those sessions herself. Just before we kick off, I just wanted to make you guys aware of a couple of events that are coming up. First of all, there is a Grow with HubSpot event taking place in London next Tuesday, so just under a week. It's a free to attend event for anyone in the sort of local area that can make it into London for the day. If you simply just Google Grow with HubSpot London, you'll see it come up and you can simply just register for free tickets. There's going to be, I think, 5 or 6 of us at the event. So again, please feel free to drop me a message if you are attending, and it'd be great to catch up. Secondly, we have a HubSpot user group taking place on Wednesday, the 28th of November. So it's about 3 weeks away now. We're actually doing this one in conjunction with the guys who run the HubSpot for Startups program. So we've got Gary and Sean coming over from Dublin to speak about a variety of sort of inbound marketing, inbound sales, but very much focused at the startup community and how you can scale quickly using the HubSpot tools. So I think that's probably enough from me. At this stage, I think I can pass over to Caroline. And Caroline is one of the HubSpot account managers at the B2B Marketing Lab. And as I mentioned, is now actually based in Singapore. So again, I hope the connection and stuff is all good, but otherwise I will pass over to Caroline.
Hello everybody, thank you Matt for the introduction. Thank you everybody for joining our session today. So as Matt already mentioned, we're going to talk about using HubSpot social media tools today. So I am going to start sharing my screen now, and I will take you through the fundamentals of the social tool today. Now, the things that we're going to cover today are social publishing, social monitoring, social analytics, the calendar tool within HubSpot as well, where you can plan your social activities. And then there will be a live demo about how you can use the social tools in HubSpot as well. And lastly, some key takeaways and best practice tips for everybody. Now, to start, so the social media tools in HubSpot, what are the benefits of it? So basically, you can manage all of your social channels within one place. That includes LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can draft posts, schedule them, and post them all within HubSpot. And you can also monitor keywords and mentions, especially for Twitter. That's a really useful tool. I will show you more later on. And of course, as within all HubSpot tools, you can also analyze the performance of your activities right within the tool. So you don't have to log into all of your social channels and see how it performs. You can basically just do it all within one tool. Now, to start with the first section, that will be about the social publishing tools from within HubSpot. Now, essentially, there are 3 different methods of how you can publish social posts from within HubSpot. You can either go, if you read an article somewhere online, which is really interesting for you, if you've got the HubSpot plugin installed, you can click directly, so you can maybe see it here in my browser. You can click on it directly. It will create a little pop-up window and you can post straight from within HubSpot. The second option is right from within HubSpot. So when you logged in, and within the social publishing section, you can just hit to create a new post and do it from there. And the third method is bulk uploading a bank of social from an Excel file. Now, to kind of explain these different methods in a little bit more detail, as I've already mentioned, the first option is just if you read a really interesting article, use the social plugin that HubSpot provides. Now, in your social settings, there's a really quick way to install this in your browser. So if you click into your settings, I can show you that later on in our live demo. There's an option to install a Chrome extension, so you can quickly do that from within your browser. Essentially, it will come up with a little pop-up window, and then you can create your message right within without switching the browsers. Now, basically, what it removes is the way you have to, first of all, read your article, create a shortened link, for example, using tools like Bitly, etc., and then logging into your Twitter account and posting the social message from in there. So you can basically all do it from within one browser. So it's a really great and efficient way. Now, the second method I would like to show you is the social publishing from within the HubSpot tool itself. Now, if you are in the HubSpot tool, if you are in your HubSpot account and in the social media tool, it's basically really easy to follow as well. You hit create a new social post, and this exactly the same window will pop up as well. You can choose which channel you want to create a message, so LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And then just create your message from within there. I will show you more about the details of how to create your post later on. Now, the third method is using an Excel spreadsheet to upload your posts. That's a really useful tool if you have tweets going out, for example, 2 or 3 times a day, and you don't want to hit create a new post every time you create a new tweet. What you can do is you can download an Excel spreadsheet, a template from within HubSpot, and you just fill in the date, then your message, the link, so you don't need to worry about shortening it as well. Just put the long URL in there and HubSpot will shorten it automatically. Then the campaign, and just upload it into HubSpot as well. So it's a really good way if you have a lot of social media posts to publish, and if it's just if you need a really quick way of uploading them into HubSpot. Okay, now in terms of social monitoring then, there are a couple of really interesting features as well in HubSpot. Now, you can basically, social monitoring in HubSpot allows you to keep an eye on all of your notifications from within the tool as well. What you can do is in the inbox tools, you can see whether somebody has interacted with your post, so whether he's liked a post, retweeted it, commented on it, or shared it, for example. You can also see whether you have any new followers on any of your channels. So you can see, I'll again show you this in a bit more detail later on. you can basically see it all from within one tool. It's a really good way as well. You can reply if somebody has a question, for example. You can reply straight from within the tool without having to log in and log out and log out and log in into your actual social accounts. You can do that all from within HubSpot once your accounts are connected. You can also follow back your contacts, for example, so you can see who's following you on Twitter. You can follow them back from within the tool. So again, really efficient way to monitor your social media activities. Now, for Twitter specifically, you can also create so-called streams. So if you want to follow what's going on Twitter about a certain topic that's really interesting for your industry, then you can create a stream within HubSpot. So for example, we might want to create a stream about HubSpot training. We want to see what are people talking about on Twitter, what they're sharing, what content that they're sharing, and it's a good way as well to interact and to comment, to reshare other people's posts as well. So you can add filters for these streams. So you want to monitor specific tweets that contain inbound marketing automation, for example, which gives you a good way of kind of monitoring what's going on Twitter as well. Fab. You can also, for these Twitter streams, it's a really good way if you see somebody is tweeting a lot about a topic that's really relevant to your industry, then you might want to follow them back or share some of their content as well. Just interaction is always a good way of kind of showing that you know what's going on in your industry as well. Fab. Now let's move on to social analytics. So as I've already mentioned, within pretty much every tool in HubSpot, you've got an inbuilt analytics tool as well. So what it allows you basically is you can see how many sessions, how many contacts you created from all your social channels from within HubSpot as well. So you can either see that in total or you can filter that by channel as well. It's a really good way of kind of comparing, for example, which social media channel drives more traffic to your website, or which social media channel drives maybe creates more contacts. So typically Twitter is a channel that may drive some traffic to your website, but may not create as many new contacts as LinkedIn, for example. So it's a really good way of kind of monitoring that within the tool as well. You can also see which posts are your best performing posts, for example, to see what kind of conclusions you can draw from there, what learnings you have, and to see kind of what type of content resonates best with your audience, essentially. You can also click into one specific post that you've scheduled out to see kind of more details around the analytics of it. So you can see who was it, who liked my post. You can also see if the person is already a contact in HubSpot. You can also see if any of your existing contacts interact with your social media posts. So it's a really good way as well to kind of monitor to kind of monitor what your contacts do and what social content they interact with as well. Now the last bit from my slide deck before we go into the live demo is the social calendar. So the social calendar looks a bit like this. This is basically just a different view of how you can display the social posts that you have scheduled. So it's a really good way of just seeing where do you have social media posts going out already? Are there maybe any gaps? So you can kind of plan ahead and see if you need to draft any more posts. Maybe you have too many posts going out on one day, you want to maybe move them to another day. So this is the kind of calendar view which provides you maybe with a better overview if you have a lot of social posts going out rather than just the list view as well. Okay, great. Now I think we can go into the live demo now. So I am going to show you now basically the social media tool in HubSpot. You can go if you click on the marketing and then social, and then you will come first of all to the publishing side of things. Now this is what it looks like, the kind of first interface. You will see all the posts in a list view. You can filter by network. So if, for example, I just wanted to see my LinkedIn posts, let's choose all the channels. Fab. All the LinkedIn posts that have been published so far. Then you can choose what date range you want to look at, so this week, month, etc., or you just choose a custom time period. What's also really helpful is to filter by campaign. So if you want to see how many posts you've scheduled out just for one campaign as well, this is where you can filter it. And then users as well. So this is if you have set up any users in the background, if they can only see certain posts, then this is where you can filter this, filter by user as well. Fab. Now these are all the published posts. You will see as well the time, clicks, obviously interactions is kind of the sum of all the comments and likes and retweets and reshares of a post. HubSpot will bucket that all under one kind of number essentially. Here on the side you will see you can switch to all the posts that you have scheduled as well. So this obviously these are all the posts that have already gone out, and what you can also see is all the draft posts. Now HubSpot allows you to write posts in HubSpot and then kind of save them as drafts. So it's really useful if you have a junior member of staff who maybe their posts might have to be reviewed by somebody before they get scheduled and published. So these would be the draft messages. Now, in terms of kind of actually, sorry, I will quickly show you the calendar tool here as well. So if you you've got the list option here, then you've got the calendar. So this is the kind of a different view. The more social posts you've got going out, the more likely you'll probably use this calendar tool. Again, it's a really useful way to see which channels you've got posts going out, or have you just got LinkedIn posts going out, Twitter, etc. You can see this within the calendar tool here as well. You can switch between week and date as well. Now, what you can also do is you can export all your posts if you kind of want to have it all in one Excel spreadsheet and do some further analysis around or kind of review the social post, the content of your social posts, and you can do that there. Or you can obviously create a social post. Now, I will quickly show you the 3 different methods I showed you earlier. The first one was to schedule a post from an article. So basically, if you are, for example, reading a really interesting article on Marketing Week and you want to schedule them in HubSpot, you just have to press this little sprocket here. You select, you want to create a LinkedIn post. It will come up with the HubSpot interface. And this is where you can then kind of customize. It will automatically pull kind of the headline and the post for you, but you can go and then customize this, or customize the link title and the link description as well in here. You can obviously customize who you want to send the post out from, and you can customize as well when you want to send the post out. Now, to show you this in more detail from within HubSpot. So if you click to create a social post from within HubSpot, again, you just click the orange button in the corner. Then if you want to create say a LinkedIn message, for example, this is where you would first of all say perhaps you want to promote this article. I will just copy and paste this. No need to kind of shorten the link or anything. And again, it will just come up with the same options. What you can do here is you can maybe, if the image is not the right one, you might want to switch between some of the automated preview images that are suggested. You can customize the link title and description, as I've already mentioned. What you can do as well is you can add an emoji here, for example, or if you want to add a different preview, then you can attach a video, for example, as well. These are all pulled from your HubSpot file manager. If you don't like any of these images that are being shown here, you can also just attach an image. So say, for example, you want to attach an image here, then this is what a normal image post would look like. Rather than having a link preview, you can just attach a normal image from your library as well. Now, if you want to promote a blog post, for example, that you've already created in HubSpot, there's this little, you click on this little icon here, and you can choose either from your blog posts or from your landing pages. Now, these are all pages that have to be live already. So if you want to choose a blog post that you have already published, then you click OK, and then it will automatically create a preview for you as well. So again, you will have the same options to edit the link title, link description as well, etc. Now, in terms of editing the time when you want to go, when you want to schedule a LinkedIn post out, for example, you will see that there are some dates which might have a red dot on them. That means that you already have a message going out on that day, and you can't. Well, you can schedule a message, but you might want to schedule it on a different day. It just kind of prompts you to see when you've already got posts going out. Now, you can either choose to publish it now. I guess usually you want to kind of schedule your posts a bit further in advance. So HubSpot has got some algorithms in the background to choose the times that may perform best for you. What you can also do though is just select a custom publish time. Now, what we normally recommend is scheduling the social posts out either in the morning around lunchtime or in the evening. So basically the time when people commute into work or when they are on their lunch break. These are the times that kind of usually work best for you, but again, it might be different for your industry, so it's always best to just try and test what times and what days of the week work best for you. Okay, now what you can also do here at the bottom is attach a HubSpot campaign to your social post. So either you have already created one, or you can create a new campaign from within the social tool and attach it to there. The social campaign will be attached to all the posts that you create within this window. So if I would like to schedule another Facebook post, for example, I just click on the Facebook icon and it will automatically duplicate the message. Now, obviously, you want to tweak it slightly if you have your LinkedIn message. Your LinkedIn message might be slightly different to your Facebook message, so you might want to just customize it a little bit. Also, bear in mind that you cannot edit the link title and the link description for your Facebook messages. This is something you can just do for LinkedIn as well. Also, one more thing to note, you might see the Google Plus sign in here. Now, Google Plus has been retired as a tool, so I believe HubSpot will eventually remove this from the HubSpot social tools as well. But it looks like you're still able to publish Google Plus posts now. Now, once you have drafted all your posts, you can either schedule them immediately, or if you want to save them as drafts, this is where they will then move to your draft social messages. And if somebody else needs to review them, then they can go in there and then approve the drafts, and so they move over to the scheduled posts. Fab. Now I will exit here and show you just the third method of publishing as well, which is to schedule your social posts in bulk. Now you've got the little button here to schedule your messages in bulk. So if you hit that, you will see this window pop up. This is where you can upload or drag and drop the CSV or Excel file with your spreadsheets. Now you can see here there's an option as well to download the template either in Excel or CSV format, which looks just like in the slides that I shared with you earlier. So if you just want to download maybe the first template first before you upload your first bank of social, you can do that from within here as well. Also, just a reminder here about the format of the dates and the for date and for the hour format as well. Fab. Then in terms of the monitoring tools that I mentioned earlier, you will find them within here. Now at the top you've got your kind of social inbox where you can monitor either all your activities, or you can filter it via conversations. Now conversations are just any kind of mentions, comments, basically anywhere somebody created a comment, essentially, you will see in conversations. Interactions is anything around sharing a post, or if somebody likes a post or retweets it. Now you can filter all of these by channel as well. So if you want to see your LinkedIn activities, then you can filter that, or you can choose all networks as well. Then the last option here is just to see where you've got new followers, and you will see all of their profile. Now, a really interesting tool here, as I've already mentioned as well, is that you can follow them back straight from within the HubSpot tool as well, and you can also choose from which account you want to follow them back as well. So it might be either your corporate social account, or it might be one of your spokespeople, for example. Great. Now then you've got your Twitter streams in here as well. So basically one of our streams, for example, is around HubSpot training. Now, if you want to, where you can see kind of all the tweets that are going out around HubSpot training. Now, to show you kind of how this is set up, if you click on create a stream, you can just give it a name here. Then you can kind of customize whether you want to see all of Twitter, just a list that you've uploaded from HubSpot, or a contact list. Then here you can use commas and tabs to separate words. So if I want to know everything about HubSpot training, this is where you can add inbound marketing. So you can add as many filters as you want here. What you can also do is kind of send out notifications internally if a post matches the criteria that you set up. You can do that here either immediately or twice a day, once a day, twice a day, depending on the frequency, obviously, of how many posts. You might not want to get one email for every post that has been shared on Twitter about inbound marketing. And here you can select as well who will get the internal notification about these Twitter mentions. You've got advanced options here as well to kind of, if you need a keyword, a required keyword in these posts, you might want to exclude some keywords as well. If it's a really broad topic, you might want to hide tweets from certain accounts, etc. And you can filter by language as well. If you get a lot of retweets, it might be worth ignoring those as well, and just kind of getting a notification about new messages, not just retweets from your own Twitter accounts. Okay, great. So these are the Twitter streams. One tool that is currently within beta, so it won't be visible within your portal yet, is competitor streams. So I'm not going to take you through it in too much detail, but basically it will allow you to kind of monitor what your competitors are doing. So it's quite a useful tool as well. Now, in terms of reporting your social media activities, you will click here under reports. You can either, again, see all networks or just one of them. So the four things you can monitor here are clicks, interaction, so clicks through to your website, interactions, sessions, how many contacts did you create via your social media platforms, and then underneath that you've got kind of an overview of how many followers you created within the set time period, how many posts you have published on each channel as well, and the last thing is what are your top performing posts of the set time period as well. So again, you can filter up here what date range you want to look at, whether you want to just look at a specific campaign, etc. Then what you can also change is here, either you want to split by network or you just want to see the total numbers as well. Great. Now, one other thing within the social tool is the connection to the Facebook Messenger. Now, this basically allows you to write Facebook messages from within HubSpot as well. So if somebody messages you on Facebook, you can reply straight from within HubSpot as well. You can also set up bots to kind of ask, so you can kind of set up the first questions that are being asked, and some responses as well, which is what you can you can do from within the Messenger tool as well. Fab. The last thing in here are just the social settings. Now, this is just basically, it will take you through to the settings where you can connect all your accounts. So it's fairly straightforward as well. You basically just hit connect account, and then you'll just follow a couple of steps. You just need the login details essentially and connect your accounts from within here. Now here's an option as well to auto publish whenever you have a new blog going live on your website. That essentially means that whenever you publish out a new blog, all of these, or whoever's got it enabled, will automatically publish a message on social media. Now, we always advise to disable this, just because if you have a variety of accounts connected and they all publish the same message at the same time, it doesn't look very organic. So we always recommend creating and customizing the messages that you schedule out for your new social, for your new blog post as well. I just wanted to show you here as well under publishing. This is where you can set, where you can just amend some of the settings in the background essentially. So one thing that's quite useful as well is publishing like a human. So essentially it won't just, if you schedule a post to go out at 12 o'clock, it won't go out bang 12 o'clock. It will just go out from like within a 10 minutes time frame of the time that you selected. And the last thing I wanted to show you is as well to the link, sorry, yes, the link to add your Chrome extension to schedule HubSpot posts from within your browser. This is where you can do this as well. Now I've already got this extension installed, so it doesn't come up for me anymore, but this is where you will find a link to install this to for your browser as well. Then another thing in here, what you can do is you can set up email notifications. This is kind of just a tool if you would like to have a daily or weekly social media roundup of all your interactions, of all the posts that went out. You can set that up here. Yeah, that was pretty much it in terms of our live demo of the HubSpot social tools.
Fabulous. And sorry to jump in, Caroline. Thank you for that. That was very good and very in-depth. Just to everybody on the webinar, Caroline's just about to run through some key takeaways. So hopefully just a few bits that you can sort of note down and take away from today's webinar, in addition to sort of the live demo side of things. Whilst Caroline's going through the key takeaways, if you have any questions whatsoever within the GoToWebinar chat pane, please feel free to fire some questions in there at all. I'll be monitoring them as Caroline runs through the key takeaways, and I get the good job of being able to sit back and fire the questions at Caroline at the end. So please don't be afraid to ask questions as she runs through. Caroline, I'll pass back over to you.
Thank you, Matt. All right, then, so what are our kind of key takeaways and best practices? So in addition to the kind of functionalities from HubSpot that I just showed you, we just wanted to give you a few of our main kind of best practice tips as well in terms of social messaging. So one thing that is always really, well, it's essential for anything that you do on social media, as well as with any other marketing activities really that you do. Setting a clear goal for all your activities that you do. So just posting out for the sake of posting out social posts, there's not really any point. So if you really need to set clear goals for any kind of social media activity that you do. For example, landing page conversions, or just increasing the number of followers, etc. So just make sure to use I'm sure you're all aware of the SMART goal framework. Use that to set some clear goals before you start scheduling out. Then also always bear in mind your buyer personas, which sometimes is something that may sometimes get forgotten if you draft your social post. So if you draft your message, think about what are their challenges, what are their goals, why are they on LinkedIn, what are they looking for, what kind of information, and really try and answer their questions as good as possible. Also tweak your post based on the channel that you're using as well. So don't just copy and paste one message and just post it on Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook all at the same time. Make sure you bear in mind the character limits as well. For example, I've recently read that LinkedIn allows you to, that LinkedIn longer form posts might perform quite well. So if you kind of draft a couple of paragraphs where people click to read more, these are type of posts that perform really well on LinkedIn, in contrast to Twitter, for example, where you might want to just keep it short and simple, add a couple of hashtags, etc. Then adding a clear call to action as well, especially with your goals in mind. So if your goal is to convert people on a landing page, then customize your link title, your description, and make sure to actually tell the user what you want them to do. So click through to this landing page, etc. Also, use a mix of internal and external content. Now, many companies tend to post a lot of content about themselves, and which is great, and that's, at the end of the day, that's you want to drive users to your website. But what you want to do as well is kind of position yourself as a thought leader in the industry. So if you tend to just kind of post out content from like your own content and to your website, it might just be a little bit too salesy. So make sure to keep up to date with industry news and share external links as well. It just makes you more credible, your social channel more credible in total. Now then, there's the 80-20 rule as well, which is kind of related to what I've just mentioned. So we would recommend kind of 80% of your messages is kind of to build a community, essentially just help answer questions that people have, and 20% of your posts are kind of directly related to your solutions or to your products. Also, the use of hashtags is a really good way to reach a wider audience, not just on Twitter, but also on LinkedIn. And the way to do that is you can either kind of create content related hashtags, brand related hashtags, or just follow any kind of trending hashtags right now. Maybe just look at what your competitors do and try out what works for you best as well. Also, always review your social posts and optimize as you go along, obviously. Just try to see what kind of works best for you. Now, the last thing I just wanted to share with you are kind of some best practice tips in terms of social media imagery as well. Overall, it's great to always use a mix of content and imagery based posts. Just if you look at your timeline, you want to kind of just see some different types of posts. Then also, HubSpot has a really great integration with Shutterstock as well to source some social media images. So if you go into your file manager, you will see there's a link to use some of Shutterstock's images as well, which you can use for your social posts. So make sure to check that out as well. Also, one thing that sometimes gets forgotten is to resize your images for all social media accounts. What you can do, for example, is using tools such as Canva to create your own templates, and then to just automatically kind of resize the images as you need them for Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. I've pasted a link into here where you can see kind of like the latest guide on which size, which image size you will need to use for which platform as well. Fab. So these are all our best practice tips, and let's see if there's any questions.
Thanks, Caroline. So 2 questions for you. I'll throw them both into one so you can answer at the same time. But first of all, do you mind just, I guess, giving some best practice on the use of company profiles alongside personal profiles? So using, your company LinkedIn page alongside the personal LinkedIn pages of your spokespeople. And then secondly, do you mind just running over the way that you can post videos onto the social channels as well?
Okay, sure. So in terms of company versus personal account posts, this is something we tend to see quite often, that many organizations just use their corporate channels to post out content. Now, we always recommend having a few spokespeople from your company to also amplify your content. Now, this is especially useful, for example, for LinkedIn groups. If you want to promote your content into there, if you want to join discussions, then it's great to have some spokespeople set up on LinkedIn, especially to kind of join these conversations. Now, in terms of the difference really, and why we recommend having spokespeople as well, is basically just to make it more human, the content and the advice that you give. And if you always just post from your corporate channels, then it just might end up sounding too salesy, and people might just not believe you so much. But if you don't have any actual people talking about your content as well, so it's just a really good way of kind of making the whole conversation more human in a way. This is both useful for LinkedIn especially, and for Twitter as well, to kind of have a couple of people from your company join the discussion as well. Now, in terms of video posting, I can show you that as well. So the way to add videos to your messages, I'm just going to go back into the social tool as well. So if you create a new social post, say for example Facebook, then you've got, if you hover over those little icons at the bottom here, you've got the first one is to add an image, and the second one here is you've got a little video icon. So if I click on that, you will see all the videos that have recently been uploaded. Now I will just choose one of our recent videos and it will come up here, and then you can just write a post and schedule it, and yeah, as easy as that. I hope that answers the question.
Fab, thank you, Caroline. Do you mind just flicking back onto your slides and moving ones?
Of course.
Just a couple of slides forward.
Sure.
So just to wrap up, I think you guys are obviously aware that we run classroom training actually in our offices in central London, and these are the upcoming dates for those training sessions. If they are of interest to anyone, then please don't hesitate to reach out. My colleague Violetta, who has been on a couple of these webinars over the last couple of weeks, heads up our HubSpot sales. So you can see her email there if you have any questions at all about that. And then, sorry, Caroline, just one more slide.
Sure.
As you guys know, we run these webinars every fortnight. So the next webinar that's taking place is on Wednesday, the 21st of November. And we're looking at how to build and post a blog in HubSpot. So that will be looking at the blog tool and how to optimize a blog for lots of visitors, and also how to convert people via your blog. There's a couple more between that date and Christmas where we start looking at things like workflows and lead scoring. So I hope they are of interest. One final point is that if you'll see on the landing page that we sort of lined out some webinars and training topics up until I think the end of January in 2019. But if there's anything specific that you guys are looking for training on, if there's anything specific that you would like us to run a webinar on, then please don't hesitate to contact me. And we will be more than happy to sort of put that webinar on after Christmas. Caroline, just to throw you a curveball just before we log off, we've got one last question. Does posting through HubSpot affect reach, particularly with regard to Facebook organic reach? So is there a difference between the amount of reach that you can get organically on whether you post via Facebook or not? Via HubSpot or not?
In terms of the audience that you can reach within for your posts, so just to clarify the question, it is the same as posting straight through Facebook. If I understand correctly, you're talking about organic Facebook messages.
Yeah, no, that's correct. And I think I think probably in a wider marketing audience, I think it's probably quite well known that the ability to grow and drive your organic reach via Facebook has sort of declined over the last couple of years. Obviously, they're leaning much further towards you running things like Facebook ads and that sort of thing now. Now, Facebook are obviously re-looking at their algorithm and how the tool is used, especially over the sort of the press and the bad press the company had over probably about 6 months ago now. But no, I like Caroline said, as far as we're aware, the API set up between HubSpot and things like Facebook, Instagram, and stuff like that is purely just a posting tool and doesn't affect any sort of organic reach or anything like that. So yeah, I think guys, we'll probably wrap up the webinar there. As I mentioned, if there's any sort of further questions, any information around our upcoming training or upcoming webinars, please do not hesitate to get in touch with us. But Caroline, thank you very much for joining us, and everyone on the line, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.